Hey guys, how are you all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. So it's Friday, happy Friday everybody, and let's get over to those Bitcoin charts. So yeah, range and stop. Range and stop, you can see our larger time frames now turn to bearish. So we're only really looking for short trades. And we've had a couple of short possible entries here on the lower time frame, but I'm holding off taking these just until we fully confirm that we are in a downtrend, just because we are at critical levels here resistance wise, as you guys know from what I was talking about in my morning's video. So there's no necessarily need for me to jump in here and call this potentially as the top, because if we do start to come down, then there'll be plenty of time to sell on the meatier part of the trade. Just like when we moved down here, we didn't necessarily have to try and call any of these levels. You just had to wait for it to pan out until we then realised, okay, then if we break 9,000, then we're going to keep going up and up and up. Basically to around about this level. 9,700, 9,800 was the target. I mean, we've not quite got there. We could still get a push up there, or we could just get a wild move up there or back down. I mean, we're at such larger time frame important levels now that it's difficult to basically to analyze things on a shorter time frame. We're just waiting for resolution. If we look at our levels again on here, I mean, you can see, zoom this in a bit. Yeah, you can sort of see, I mean, the pennant there that I'd obviously drawn on this morning, the trend line there, not making it up to this resistance though. So I would say not making it up to here is a bit bearish, seeing as we turn back down now. I mean, obviously we can consolidate around this area, but this isn't so much like when we consolidate around this area, when we've got room to maneuver, basically consolidating around this area and losing this 9,400 support, which it's not looking like we're not going to lose it, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We want to be above 9,500 to be looking nice and healthy and potentially push into the 9,700. But yeah, just, I mean, we've had a few wicks up into the 9,600, not really held in that area. So it's as bullish as I want to be for the breakout of here. This is obviously looking like a rejection of the top of the trend line. So obviously, by all means, we can get our way back above 9,500. Then we can have another test at it, have another stab at it, try and get to 9,700. But yeah, my inclination, obviously, just on, I mean, I know I say that I'm not really interested in looking at the shorter term time frames. Obviously, we've got big macro resistance and we've got other things going on. We've got obviously great looking charts on the monthly and weekly, etc. But yeah, I mean, just it looks like we can. I mean, 9,000 is not far at all anyway. Let's face it. This level here, 8,800, 9,000. Even if we put in, like, even if it takes us a bit of time for us to, we just consolidate around this zone, maybe have a few wicks down to here. It's not far away at all from price. So there's nothing to say we can't easily just come to the bottom of here and then either break. I'm not saying that means we're going to bounce and then go up, but then obviously either break or bounce and go up, one of the two. But I think it's likely that we may make a move down there. So you can see for our Stokes moving down, for our RSI looking like it's basically lost the exponential. I can't see that. Let's have a closer look. Yeah, we have basically lost the exponential on this for our RSI. Let's have a look on the 12 hour, because obviously 12 hour is the main one. Yeah, 12 hour turning back over. Obviously we know that we can stay up here, we can hover around this area, but if we do cross over and then start to come down, that will be the confirmation we need. And then we do have to look, we do have to consider the fact that if we do, obviously the 12 hour Stokes turn down, we do come down, we have to look at the fact that we can very easily break this pennant to the downside, obviously failing at this macro resistance again for multiple times in our price history, in our history, Bitcoin's history. And yeah, I mean, then really, I mean, as much as we obviously can quite seriously target a move to the bottom of this pennant, a breakdown of this pennant and completion of it, I mean, it's very reasonable to expect at least, well, I would like to say just the middle of this pennant. But yeah, that obviously that would be very reasonable, because I'm about to say it'd be very reasonable for us to come and test nearer the bottom end of this pennant. So obviously if it's reasonable to get down here, it's obviously more reasonable to get down here. But yeah, I mean, the 618 though looks good. Looks good as a target. Maybe obviously not taking us to the bottom of the pennant, but yeah, I mean taking us, I mean, especially if it takes us some time. Well, that's January 2021, isn't it? So this is next year. I mean, especially if it takes us some time, we could work our way to around about here, have a few wicks down. But obviously we've got to resolve this formation first, and it's not resolved yet. We're still in the top portion of it, and we're still obviously at the top portion of this one here, this larger time frame. So it's clearly not over yet. Clearly not over. We're still in this symmetrical triangle, which is it's basically it could very easily just be a bullish continuation pattern. This could be very easily. I mean, that's what we're talking about. The only thing that makes us think maybe it isn't is just, not that maybe it isn't, but that it's going to struggle. It's just the fact we are at this macro trend line in this big pennant. So is now the time we're going to break through? Or like I said in this morning's video, how nice, how good would an inverted head and shoulders look here to blast us through the level, which will obviously be lower at this point. This trend line will be lower, to give us an insane move up. I mean, I might have to draw this as a potential what I think may happen, just because it would be nice to look at it in the future. See if, well, it'd be nice to look at it in the future if I'm right. Clearly, obviously, it would be pointless to look at the future. It'd be like, oh look, back before we went up to 20k and bust through this pennant, I was like, yeah, we're doing inverted head and shoulders. Just be pointless, wouldn't it, guys? But anyway, yeah, I'll stop talking rubbish now. But yeah, so it's this is fully reasonable. This is, so guys. Right, I'm going to zoom back in now. We'll have a look at the daily. Have a look at some of the larger time frames again. I just want to look at these candles on the daily. So, I mean, that daily candle's not looking the best. It's not looking the best for us, obviously, to get continuation. I mean, these are nice looking closing daily candles, and this obviously is a bit different looking, isn't it? Right. Let's look at 2-day. 2-day, obviously we've got a nice, it's not nice if you're bullish, but a rejection wick here. So we tested basically above this level. We had a little venture, a little scout out into this zone, but we closed below the resistance, below the 9,400 resistance. What we're currently at now. Yeah, basically, well, I mean, we're practically at 9,400, 9,420. I mean, we're there or thereabouts. You can see where we are in the 2-day. 5-day. 5-day candle obviously looking good, but it is an inside, it's inside candle, inside this candle here, inside this bearish candle. So it's not necessarily bullish unless we break out the top, which we are not likely to do. This candle closes in 3 hours. This 5-day candle closes in 3 hours, and I guess this weekly candle closes in 2 hours, and obviously closes on Sunday evening. So a lot can happen over the weekend, guys. A lot can happen if, I don't know why my thing's not working. If this candle over this weekend, we are currently at 9,400. If we close above these candles, which are only, well, it's basically if we close at 9,800, if we close this candle either at 9,800 or even better, well, even better, obviously 10,000 is even better. If we close it over 9,800, this weekly candle is going to look very, very, very good, and it will completely negate everything I'm saying, obviously, on the lower time frames, because we've broken out to the top of the pennant. So yeah, this is what I mean about higher term time frames are looking very good. It's obvious. So obviously we've got to. I mean, it's just a rock and a hard place now. We've got obviously higher time frame candles and oscillators and everything. And then we've obviously just got macro higher time frame resistance and the weekly TD9 that you guys probably get annoyed about me keep going on about, especially if you just want us to break out now. So this is what I mean. You can sense my indecision, can't you? You can know when I do the videos and I'm like, yeah, well, we've confirmed the bottom now, so just take out the top of this candle. We're going up and up and up. I mean, you guys know like how we can spot those, but now the market's at an indecision. I'm at an indecision. We just got to see what plays out. This is why I'm saying there's no real point in taking trades now. Yeah, because you could get just run over. You're picking up pennies in front of a steamroller, or picking up pennies off a off a motorway or whatever, whichever analogy you want to go with. But yeah, so it's just a difficult thing to do. Let's have a look at the monthly for the sake of completion. Yeah, I mean, the monthly looks fine. Monthly doesn't necessarily, I mean, if we close this monthly where we are, sort of above all this other level of monthly candles, that is a very that's a very bullish candle. That's a doji candle. A long wick at the bottom shows you got bought up. The next candle basically closed higher than obviously the open of the last one. Didn't close higher than it traded. But now this candle has looks like it may close higher than this one traded as we stand at the moment. This has got 2 days, 4 hours to go. Obviously it's a monthly candle too, ending the same time as a weekly for a change. Does that always happen? What we at? Is that the 31st? Yeah, Sunday's the 31st, so that is why they're closing the same time. But yeah, so closing up here or higher on the monthly is going to look fantastic as well. So this is our dilemma. Let's have a look at other times. Other times we've got long wicks. Look, when we're up here, long wicks, and clearly a long wick. So the lack of long wick on this candle does look very good. But I mean, you could say that here though. This is a nice solid green candle, and look, we did trade above it, but then we came obviously lower, and then came a lot lower. So I mean, it's not, do you know what I mean? It's good. It's good. Obviously this candle's different because we had the big nice green candle, and then we obviously traded higher, opened high, and looked like, well, we've got 2 days. Anything can happen this weekend. This level here is only 8,600, and we could easily get hammered down there over this weekend. I mean, we know how Bitcoin moves. We know how it can move when it wants to. So yeah, I mean, it's just hard to make a decision. I mean, once we confirm this as a high, we can obviously look. The short trades are going to be easy. Obviously, this is not on the monthly. I mean, it's been a long time to confirm on a monthly. But let's say on a 4 hour, once we well, we have basically confirmed this as a high on the 4 hour. But yeah, let's have a look at the 12 hour and daily. Yeah, so obviously we've not confirmed it as a high on the daily, but yeah, once we confirm this as a high, obviously, like I'm saying, in relation to this overall the overall formation and overall sort of severity of basically the macro resistance, I don't think we can look at a 4 hour confirmation of a high for the actual, do you know what I mean, the definitive answer to, no, we're not breaking this macro resistance now. But just ignoring that macro resistance, we have confirmed a 4 hour high. We are basically now closing candles below this resistance. I mean, and normally, I mean, I would be fairly certain as you can be in trading that we're coming back to 9,200 and potentially taking out 9,200 and at least coming down to test the bottom of the trend line. And then if we break the bottom of the trend line, then we're clearly going through this 8,600. And if we go through that 8,600, then we're clearly going to get to at least 8,000. So that's the sort of the cascade failure, the dominoes that will drop. That could very possibly drop here. So yeah, so it's basically do or die for Bitcoin at the moment, and yeah, the failure to continue this strength straight through here up to 9,700 and over 9,800. It's not good. It's not ideal, guys. It is not good. It's not good. So yeah, and obviously our failure to hold this support level. I mean, yes, if we start closing 4 hour candles inside this zone, I would have to say we are coming down, and then I would have to say that it's most likely we will break out the bottom of this pennant. More likely. Obviously, it's not a financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. It'll obviously be more likely we break out the bottom of this pennant, especially seeing as we'll have very nicely downward facing Stokes on the 12 hour, and then by then the daily probably would have curled back over as well, curling back over potentially with a lower high as well, following a trend line on the daily Stokes. We'll get it up so we can just have a look, following this trend line here as well. So yeah, I mean, we could still spend a few days, come up, test this trend line and come down. Yeah, so we'll leave that in there, see what happens. There's a bit thick, that line, isn't it? Let's that's not the thickness. Where's the thickness? This is it, isn't it? Right, we'll leave that on there like that. That's I just don't want it glaring out of me on the chart. So yeah, that's what I can say really, guys. I mean, this is the other thing that's got me spooked. the fact next week we are going to be on a weekly 9, but like I said, we can accelerate through 9s and have a big 9 candle, and then with that is basically will be the reversal. But if we do that though, if we break through, we're going to trigger so many, it's going to be the fake out of all fake outs, guys. Put it that way. Also, I mean, not that this is that interesting, but I was discussing this with another trader that I speak with, and he just wasn't that bothered about it, about a weekly 9 on the TD, even though he's a TD trader. He wasn't bothered about it on the basis that Bitcoin hasn't really reacted to many of the previous 9s, which is like, okay. So yeah, I mean, it's an exhaustion indicator, so fair enough if it doesn't on other occasions. It doesn't mean that the trend isn't necessarily exhausted at the point that we're at now. So and obviously the higher the time frame, the harder it is to get the 9s. So like if we look at a monthly, I mean, do you see any 9s at all? I mean, there's one here, and obviously we blasted through it, but the higher the time frame, the harder it is to get the 9s. So obviously when you get them, it's like, is that going to pinpoint the exact point? But this point has a lot of other confluence with it, so another obviously macro confluence with it that will maybe make us think that this one is going to be an important 9. So anyway, so right, we'll leave it there. I'll have a video at you tomorrow. This weekend may be key for Bitcoin. I mean, we can't really trust weekend action, but we can have some fake outs all over. This is why this market, it'll be a bit crazy, I think, at the moment. I haven't got drawing tools. Oh, I have. Oh, I've not moved something, have I? It's just the market can be a bit crazy over weekends, to say the least. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we do basically start to make the move down. A lot of things suggest we will, obviously. Yeah, obviously this turning over as well. So obviously we do have this trend line on the 12-hour Stokes that we've actually broken above. So let me show you something on here. So what if we basically come back and test this at support and curl back over from this trend line in this 12-hour stochastics? Then yeah, then I think we will basically break up. I think we'll get over 10k. I mean, I can't say what sort of a fake out we are or aren't gonna get once we get over 10k. Whether we're gonna basically go to the moon and start to enter, do you know what I mean, the blue skies. But I do think we'll get a good push up. If we curl back down and we bounce off this trend line, then yeah, just there'll be some high probability long trades. Not financial advice. So I'll leave it there, guys. So again, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Oh yeah, thank you so much for subscribing, guys, because I'm at 500 subscribers on YouTube now, so I'm actually really pleased about that. So yeah, I'm just really thankful that all you guys find value in this content, and yeah, and I also appreciate all the videos that I do every day. I do put a lot of my time into these videos that I do. I know you guys may just be watching the Bitcoin ones, but I do 2 of those every day, so that's 2, and I also do a Forex one, which is just charting for Forex, because I know there's a lot of Forex scammers out there. So I just want to give you Forex traders out there, you inexperienced Forex traders, a fighting chance. And then I have the general market one, the general stock market, and some general stock analysis, and then oil and gold and silver markets. And then a new one started today. Which is basically gold and silver mining companies and gold and silver ETFs, because right, we're in crypto. A lot of us, well, you're in crypto. We listen to this Bitcoin really, and you've listened to it at this point, so that's great. But we're in crypto, so people that aren't in crypto, gold and silver miners are their crypto. They're the Wild West. They're wild, especially silver miners. So I mean, there's a lot of interest in those, and yeah, I mean, we guys should be looking at them too. I trade them. I'm involved in those. I do find them pretty exciting. I've obviously traded them over the years a lot more than I've traded crypto. Again, just for the fact it's like crypto. For the same, well, it's not. I didn't trade it because, oh, this is like crypto, this thing in the future that I've never heard of. But no, I traded them because just because of the price action. So yeah, you get similar price action. So anyway, so right, I'll stop now. But yeah, so I do all those videos a day anyway. But that's it. Thank you. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys subscribing. Right, anyway, so I will let you go now. Thanks for listening, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.